Good morning, fellow Malaysians. You're now watching Financial Freedom Minutes with Yap Ming Hui. Now, today I want to talk to you about how to review your will. Now, have you written your will? If you have written, yes, congratulations. But if you have not written your will, I would suggest you to do it as soon as possible. Hopefully today. Now, the reason why is that when you get the will done, you avoid delays caused by estate administration, and also you make sure that your estate get to be distributed according to your wishes. Now, for those people who have done your will, of course, it's good. However, that's not end the story. You should actually review your will to make sure that it's updated. Now, if you have not been reviewing your will since the last time you have signed it, maybe 1 year or 5 years ago, then today what I've shared with you about how to review your will will be something very useful to you. Now, there are basically 3 tips I want to share today. Number 1 is that why is it important for you to review the will? Now, there are 3 points why it's important to review your will. Number 1 is that to remind you the content of the will. Now, you'll be surprised to say, hey, how can I forget the content of the will? But again and again, my clients who have written the will 6 months ago, 1 year ago, always forgot who have they appointed as an executor, how have they actually distributed their asset to the children, and what's the percentage like, and things like that. So, even though there's no changes that you want to do, it's always good to read the content to refresh your memory. But 2 reasons why you want to actually review a will is to make sure that if you have a new asset, new properties that you actually acquired, you want to actually include in your will, or you have got a new child be born, or you have got new relative that you want to benefit as a beneficiary in your will, that to make sure that they are included. The 3rd point why we need to review the will is because that sometimes the executor that we appointed in the will or the beneficiary appointed in the will may not be relevant anymore. So that's why you may want to change to update the appointment so that the suitable candidate is appointed to ensure smooth administration of the will. Now, that is the first point on the importance of reviewing the will. The second point that I want to share about this reviewing the will is that what do you review? To review the will, okay, first when you look at it is that you look at the appointment of your executor and guardian to make sure it is still relevant. You want to make sure the executor that you appoint that they are still around, or either they are still in the country or they have migrated. Okay, if they are migrated, then they may not be a suitable candidate anymore, or whether they are passed away, which means to say they cannot do the job anyway. So you need to actually find a new executor. You want to make sure also whether their relationship with you continue to be good. Now, maybe previously the relationship with your family is good, relationship with your children is good, so they can act as a guardian, as an executor. But if the relationship has changed, you may want to find a new executor and guardian. Third thing also is that whether they are still capable to do the job. Some executor that you appointed or guardian, they may be getting old, they may be weak or not feeling well, so they may not be able to do the job if you continue to appoint them to be executor or guardian. So that's where you need to review them. Second part of what to review inside the will is to talk about the distribution of the asset. Whether there's a new asset you actually bought, okay, or then in that case you may want to name the beneficiary, or you have some asset that you used to name someone as a beneficiary. For example, one house that you have maybe in Sedang, you name someone as a beneficiary, but now you already sold it. So the person that you're supposed to benefit will no longer benefit from there anymore. Or you may have a new beneficiary, like I mentioned just now, a new child. You may want to actually see what would you want to benefit a new child with. And also distribution order. After a few years of done your will, you may find that some children that you have may not be mature financially to manage their money if you pass the asset to them at the age of 18 years old. So in this case, you may want to consider to delay the distribution asset to the later age, maybe up to 25, when they started working, they appreciate the importance of money, then only you distribute the asset to them. So these are the things that you want to review when you review the will. The third tips I want to share with you here is to when to review. Okay, so what are the trigger points in our life that may actually trigger us to change, to review the will? There are actually 9 situations here. Number 1, start with changes in marital status. So you could be moving from a single position to a married position. So that's why that you have wife, a family to take care. You will know to change your will. Or you're married, but then you become divorced. then you may want to take up your ex-wife out from the will and things like that. Okay. Second thing is a financial status change, whereby that you may want to start a new business, exposing yourself to business liability. You may want to review your will. You may have just won a lottery, maybe you won 100,000, 500,000 of cash. So that may actually warrant you to review your will. If you want to sell your business, or you may want to lease the business, or you have just bought new properties, these are all the events that actually happen into a financial position which warrant your changes and review your will. Now, I mentioned just now, if there's something happened to the executor that you actually appointed, or the guardian you appointed, whether they pass away, or whether they become incapacitated, or they migrated to other country, or they become no more good friend to you, they are not willing to act as a guardian or executor, then you got no choice but to review your will and to change the appointment. Next, of course, will be beneficiary changes. In your will, you could have appointed your mom, your auntie, uncle, who's actually quite elderly, to become your beneficiary. So it comes to a certain point, they may pass away, become very ill. So in this case, whatever you benefit them, try to benefit them in your will will not be relevant anymore. Or some beneficiary may become bankrupt even, So if you continue to benefit them in the will, the money will go to the creditors instead of themselves. So you need to find other ways to benefit them instead of naming them as a beneficiary. Or number 6, there's a change of heart. It means saying you change your mind. You just want to change your executor, guardian, or beneficiary. So by all means, review your will. Next point will be addition of child. You may have a new child due to the birth of the new child or adoption of the new child. So in this case, you want to provide for them in the new will. Then some people, due to the advice of the lawyer or the trustee, they will set up a trust fund. So when you set up a trust fund, it's important for you to review your will to make sure your trust and your will is actually operating in an integrated manner to benefit your family. So there's no clash or conflict there in your legal documents. Next, there'll be law changes. The will is being wrapped up now based on the current law as well as 2 witnesses and things like that. Maybe there's changes to the law to say that now we require 3 witnesses to your will. So then in that case, your will automatically become invalid. Or currently now the estate duty is 0%. But then government may want to actually impose, say, 10% to the estate duty. Then you may need to review your will to make sure it's actually tax efficient. Last but not least, even if there's no any of these changes happening to you or your family, I would still suggest you to review your will at least on the annual basis. Because why? Because somehow you may have some changes that you don't notice, or you may forget what is contained in the will. So I suggest you to follow the tips that I shared with you today, to review your will, to make sure the will is updated. So always remember, smarter you, smarter money management. Over to you, Aisha and Nas.
Thank you, Mr. Yap.
We always learn lots of stuff when Mr. Yap comes on set. Very, very cool indeed. So,
Exactly.
of course, those are the criteria that you go through in life that will prompt you to sort of review your will. If you don't have one in the first place, you should start reviewing one right now, actually. But some questions do come to mind. First of all, you did mention that for those who execute trust fund,
Yes.
yeah, and it must coincide or it must integrate with the will.
Yes.
What if it doesn't? Which one is null and void? I mean, the trust fund still goes on. So does it mean the will is null and void?
Yeah. Basically, the asset that you, say for example, you have a property. Okay. So this property initially you put inside a will.
Yeah.
So this property is supposed to go to your wife.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you have actually done a process to create a trust fund, whereby you transfer this piece of property into the trust fund, benefiting your 3 children.
Yes.
Now in this case, whatever you put inside the trust fund will become effective and valid, and it will overrule whatever inside the will. So at the end of the day, you may be having the kind of confusion to say, hey, at the end of the day, who will benefit, my 3 children or whether my wife?
Exactly.
The answer is whatever beneficiary in the trust fund will overrule those actually in the will.
Trust fund
I see.
overrules will at any time.
Now, Mr. you also brought in a very interesting point. Let's just say this falls under when you should renew your will or when you should review it. And the question, this comes under if there is like a change in the law. And the example you gave is, let's just say, for instance, you needed 3 witnesses instead of 2 or something like that.
Yes.
Let's just say in the event that there is a law change with regards to wills, and you didn't, and your will therefore is not in compliance with the new new law. Does that also render your will null and void?
Yes, that could be.
The whole thing.
So that's why the example that I quoted just now is a very straightforward requirement. For the will to be valid in Malaysia, there must be 2 witnesses. So which means to say currently this is a requirement. So if your will that you've done now is only 1 witness, sorry, it's already null and void immediately.
I see.
So if there's a law change, there's a law changes to the Will Act to say now, for whatever reason, the government decided to say it's better to have 3 witnesses. So the will that you have got, which is only 2 witnesses now valid, then by the time you pass away, the Will Act, the new Will Act come in place and check, sorry, you don't have that. So that's why it's always good to annually review your will, ideally speak to someone who drafted the will, your lawyer, then at least you know what's the latest changes.
And there you go.
Well, we're talking about worst case scenarios as well. Maybe one last one, let's say you forget to review your will. Maybe you're so busy that you forget lah.
Usual, that's usual.
Yeah, as usual lah.
We always find ourselves busy with things.
And there have been some changes in your life. Let's say you married a second wife lah. Let's say for example.
So busy also ain't got time to
So busy. That's why you're so busy lah. You married another one. That's why you're so busy lah. But of course you didn't review will, and when it's times for the last testament. Some criteria don't jive. So if 1 or 2 of the criteria in the will that doesn't conform, is the whole document null and void or just those criteria?
So actually, based on the Will Act, there's some basic requirements. For example, the will must be signed by yourself, must be in the written form, must have 2 witnesses. This is basic requirement to make sure the will is valid. But the situation whereby, for example, now you used to marry to woman A, now you're married to woman B.
But forgot to put her inside.
Yeah, forgot to put inside. Then the only problem you have is that there may not be this conflict of legal issue, things like that. But chances are the woman that you actually nominated, there will not be benefiting.
I see.
You show the latest wife may not be benefiting from your asset that you actually mentioned.
But the rest of the will still is executable, right?
Executable.
I see.
So it's just that point. You see, it'll just go to the first wife. There you go. It's no conflict in the law, but got conflict between Lady A and Lady B.
So the point we're trying to make is, as long as the fundamentals are correct, we still need to review anyway. Then the will should be intact.
Exactly.
One grey area that we are not so sure. One grey area we are not so sure is that someone who is single, when become married, the will that he has done during when the time when he's single will be revoked automatically.
Oh, okay.
One thing actually is in the grey area is that we are not so sure that you're in a married position, you become single. So when you become single because you divorce, then you get married again. So that may need you to consult a lawyer to make sure that whether that area would actually make your will become
more complicated.
Revoked automatically.
I see. So there you go. It can be quite confusing, especially if you don't constantly review it. Like Mr. Yap said, it is best to do it annually. And for those of you who haven't done up wills, of course, we don't want to think about the day that we leave this earth. But you know what? To be safe, exactly, you need to prepare and think about your loved ones. Anyway, if you still have any more questions with regards to your finances, just some info for you. Mr. Yap will be organizing a 2-day financial mastery workshop, and it's titled 68 Strategies to Optimize Your Wealth. It'll be happening on the 19th and 20th of March in KL. So if you guys want to participate, please log on to Mr. Yap's website. That's www.yapminghui.com, or you can give Jamie a call at 012-3900-048.
Okay, the numbers on the screen as well as the website. Once again, www.yapminghui.com. And also, we'd just like to have a disclaimer over here. Mostly last will and testaments are for non-Muslims because Muslims follow the Faro 8 law, Sharia law. So of course, for Muslim families or Muslim individuals who do make a will and testament, well, it can be contested by Faro 8 law. So that's something you want to clear up with your friendly neighborhood ustaz about that. But last but not least, we still insist, do write out or review your wills, because nobody gets out of life alive, and we just got to be prepared.
Exactly. Anyway, thank you very much once again, Mr. Yap. Look forward to having you again on the show next week.
Thank you very much.